Jake, Sully, and Neytiri have formed a family and are doing everything to stay together. However, they must leave their home and explore the regions of Pandora. When an ancient threat resurfaces, Jake must fight a difficult war against the humans. Hi, movie show recaps here. Today I'm going to explain a 2022 science fiction action film called Avatar: The Way of Water. Spoilers ahead, watch out and take care. Avatar: The Way of Water is a 2022 science fiction action film written and directed by James Cameron. The movie starts on Pandora. Jake Sully recounts his life since joining the Na'vi as head of the Omaticaya tribe. He and Neytiri have adopted Neytiri, Lok, and Tuk, as well as another adoptive child. Kiri, Grace Augustine's biological daughter, is the biological daughter of Grace Augustine's Na'vi avatar. The children also spend time with Spider, a human youngster who was left behind with the human scientists when the last group abandoned Pandora since newborns could not be cryostasis. While the children consider Spider as something of a relative, Neytiri believes the kid would be better off with other humans, in part owing to her disdain of the Sky People. While everything appears to be perfect, Jake's euphoria is abruptly destroyed when RDA ship shuttles begin to drop on Pandora, destroying vast areas of the forest and killing the fauna. Jake and Neytiri bring their children and the other Na'vi to escape, but Jake clutches his wife as they witness the carnage left behind in horror. Colonel Miles Quaritch awakens 1 year later, resurrected in his own avatar body. Quaritch quickly learns what occurred after seeing a video log he left himself before their previous failed mission to knock down the Na'vi's Tree of Souls. Before he and his crew were all slain while attacking his old friends, all now in their own Na'vi skins. Quaritch plans to lead a crew back onto Pandora with one purpose in mind: to murder Jake. The RDA has colonized Pandora and established a mining base as well as the town of Bridgehead City. Jake leads a group of Na'vi in flying their Ikrans to target human aircraft and supply lines. Neytiri and Lok try to join the battle but are seriously hurt in the process. Jake rescues them but chastises them for putting themselves in danger. The party rejoins the rest of the tribe at their camp. Jake and Neytiri talk about how these changes are affecting their children's life. Elsewhere, Spider follows Lok and Kiri to the Human Research Center, where Norm Spellman and Max Patel are still working. Kiri converses with Grace's avatar while her body is in the tank. Spider then observes that his Na'vi buddies know who their parents are. But he knows and resents who his father was, Quaritch. Quaritch and his squad arrive at their headquarters and are greeted by General Francis Ardmore, Edie Falco, who provides an update on their actions since his death. Ardmore reminds them of the Omatikaya's advantages over them before informing them how they might obtain their advantage. The squad arrives in the jungle at the same time as Jake's children and Spider. While Kiri is lost in nature, the other youngsters notice Quaritch and his crew surveying the former connection unit for humans and their avatars. He discovers his bones inside the AMP suit in which he was murdered. The baddies discover the children and conclude they are Jake's children since they have 5 fingers. When Quaritch meets Spider, he discovers he is the boy's father. Quaritch summons Ardmore and her team to come down as he holds the other youngsters prisoner. Jake and Neytiri are summoned to the scene, and both are taken aback to discover their archenemy alive and in a Na'vi body. Before they begin a fire, Neytiri kills part of Quaritch's men. She and Jake can reclaim their children, but Quaritch and his remaining companions retreat, taking Spider with them. Ardmore tortures the youngster to get information about the clan's whereabouts, but Quaritch intervenes and chooses to become closer to Spider to gain his confidence. He persuades Spider to accompany him on their mission, otherwise, the scientists will experiment on him. Jake tells Neytiri that they must leave the tribe now that they are being hunted. While Neytiri is reluctant to leave her home, Jake tells her that it is in their children's and the clan's best interests. He hands up the command to another warrior, Tarsum, and departs the tribe with Neytiri and their children. They fly their Ikran toward the eastern shore, to the Meetkaina clan of Na'vi. Tanoari, the tribe's head, and his pregnant wife, Ronal, have gathered the clan. Jake asks for sanctuary for the safety of his family, but Ronal and other tribesmen are quick to dismiss Jake and his children due to their half-human lineage and the risk of bringing their dangers to this place. Tanoari, on the other hand, acknowledges the Toruk Makto's success and allows them to stay. He also tells his offspring Anung and Tsirea to teach Jake's children how to adjust to their maritime circumstances. Quaritch and his crew lead Spider into the forest, with Spider acting as a translator for the Na'vi language, which the squad is currently learning. Quaritch is likewise able to connect with his own Ikran, but more powerfully than the Omaticaya. Jake and Neytiri are shown how to fly the Tsurik, which can move both above and below water. Lok approaches Tsireya, who demonstrates how to improve his underwater breathing. She also leads him and his sisters farther underwater by employing critters that breathe while laying on their backs. However, Aonung and Rokso are hostile toward Kiri since she is a half-breed, which leads to Lok hitting Aonung in the face. Neytiri joins the fight with Aonung's companions, prompting Jake to chastise his boys for their actions. Lok is forced to apologize to Aonung by Jake. He does so, and Aonung invite Lok to join him and his buddies on their quest. They travel far enough till they deceive Lok into pursuing a monster, just as he and his beast are ambushed by an akula, which kills Lok's mount before pursuing him. Lok tries to swim back up before running out of air, but the akula pursues him until he is saved by Payakan, a whale-like monster known as a tulkun. Lok pursues Payakan and discovers a harpoon lodged in his fin, which he removes and gains Payakan's confidence. Jake chats with Kiri, who has been feeling strange recently as a result of what she has witnessed. She thinks she can sense the strong heartbeat of their deity Iwa. Jake tells her that nothing is wrong with her. Tanawari chastises Aonung for taking Lok over the reef when it is banned. But Lok accepts responsibility for everything to keep Aonung out of trouble. Jake informs Lok that his activities have embarrassed the family, but Aonung grows to admire Lok. Lok tells his siblings, as well as Tsireya and the other Meatkaina, about his meeting with Payakan, but Tsireya reminds him that Pakayan is an outcast among the other Tulkun. She also leads them to the Meatkaina Tree of Souls. Kiri may see and converse with Grace after connecting to the tree. Kiri, on the other hand, has a violent seizure and is brought back to the beach by her brothers. Jake recruits Norm and Max to assist Kiri, but they are ineffective until Ronald tries her hand and successfully revives Kiri. Unfortunately, Quaritch's comrade Lyle Wainfleet warns him of a radar picked up from the gunship on which Norm and Max arrived. The villains then meet up with a whaling vessel led by Captain Mick Scoresby and Dr. Ian Garvin to gain an edge, since they are already looking for anti-aging treatments in Tulkun. The Meatkaina, including Ronal and her soul sister Roa, have a link with their Tulkun. Quaritch and his squad arrive soon after. They brutally murder a Tulkun and threaten a Meatkaina lady unless Jake and his family's location is revealed. Spider is appalled and tries to get his father to stop. The criminals then set fire to their trees and dwellings. Quaritch instructs his crew to attack to attract Jake's attention. Lok attempts once again to question Payakan about what he has done to make him an outcast. Payakan opens his mouth, allowing Lok to enter and connect with him. Lok sees Payakan's memories and realizes he assaulted the whalers because they murdered his mother and relatives. The whalers launch an attack, throwing harpoons loaded with inflatables and piercing the Tulkun's fins, including Roa and her infant. Ronal and the other Meatkaina arrive after collecting their stuff from her, and Ronal weeps in misery at the death of her soul sister and her kid. Tanawari and Ronal, together with scores of enraged Meatkaina, lash out at Jake for bringing the criminals to their territory, as they expected. When Jake mentions that the Tulkun would be targeted for death by the whalers' trackers, he instructs the Meatkaina to alert the Tulkun before more of them are slaughtered. Despite Neytiri's concerns, Lok goes off to notify Payakan. He is followed by his brother, Tsireya and Aonung, and then Kiri and Tuk. They discover Payakan, who has previously been tracked. Neytiri alerts Jake, and he and Neytiri go out to rescue their children. The whalers launch their attack, targeting the children and Tulkun. Meatkaina warriors join Jake and Neytiri in the fight. The children are taken prisoner on the ship after being seized during the conflict. Quaritch instructs Jake and crew to stand down, holding Lok at gunpoint to demonstrate his seriousness. Jake is about to surrender when Payakan notices his soul brother in danger and dives out of the ocean, slamming down into the vessel, and bringing some whalers with him. The Navi use this opportunity to surge into combat. Scoresby tries to harpoon Payakan, but he wraps the wire around their boat, killing the crew and cutting Scoresby's arm. Kiri manipulates the ocean environment to murder several whalers after the kids escape. Spider, meanwhile, turns against the other humans and returns to his Navi family. Neytiri saves his brothers and their friends during the struggle, but he gets shot. The family arrives at a rock and attempts to rescue Neytiri, but he succumbs to his wounds. Neytiri weeps in grief over her son's death. Quaritch contacts Jake, explaining that he is holding Kiri and Tuk as prisoners. Jake enters the sinking ship with Neytiri, Spider, and Lok for the last fight. In retaliation for Neytiri, Neytiri slaughters Quaritch's men viciously, just as Jake prepares to meet his enemy. Quaritch appears with Kiri and a knife to her throat after Jake frees Tuk. Neytiri grabs Spider and threatens him with death. despite his attempts to downplay his concern for his attachment to the youngster. Quaritch relents and lets Kiri go when Neytiri slashes Spider across his chest. Neytiri rescues the children. The ship begins to sink completely, trapping the family underneath. Jake battles Quaritch until he gets him in a chokehold and allows him to sink underwater. Loke finds his father, who urges him to leave without him because Jake doesn't believe he'll make it. But Loke helps him breathe in the manner Tsiraya demonstrated, and they flee with Pakan. Meanwhile, Kiri calls the aquatic animals to assist her in evacuating Neytiri and Took. Spider swims to save Quaritch, but he abandons him for his bad crimes and rejoins Jake's family, legally adopting him as a son. Neteyam's body is subsequently delivered to the Tree of Souls, and the family is told that he is now with Iwa. Recognizing this place as his family's new home, Jake pledges to continue fighting and protecting them. If you like our efforts, kindly subscribe our channel so that you don't miss our new video. Thanks.